We're about ready to start. If you could take your seats, we're going to start in just a few moments. A very good afternoon to you, and welcome to the official and final press conference for our big fight card coming your way Saturday evening here at the Valley View Casino Center, formerly known as the San Diego Sports Arena. The big fight card features the main event, Diaz versus Daley, for the Strikeforce World Welterweight Championship. Also headlining on that card, we have 2 world title bouts, 4 televised bouts, and let me just say this, I think any one of these 4 televised bouts could be a main event anywhere in the world. So truly a stacked card coming your way, brought to you by Strikeforce and Showtime. Now, in regards to Saturday afternoon, the first fight starts at 4:30, so we're going to open the doors at 4 o'clock, a full fight card coming your way. I believe we have 10 fights scheduled at this point. We're going to find out more tomorrow at the weigh-in. The televised portion on Showtime begins at 7 p.m., so those are some of the facts regarding that. Ticket sales, I understand, are going very well. There are some limited tickets available at all of the Ticketmaster outlets, Ticketmaster.com, as well as Strikeforce.com. Let me talk a little bit before we hear from our fighters, a little bit about tomorrow, Friday, the weigh-in. Weigh-ins start at 5 o'clock right here in this room. We want to let you know that the fans are invited. It's going to be a great experience for the fans to come. We have some special things planned for you. So especially the local media, if you could let the fans know that free, come here tomorrow, show up early before 5 o'clock, because at 4 o'clock we have some autograph sessions. Josh Barnett, the Strikeforce World Grand Prix heavyweight participant, will be signing autographs. Marloes Koenen, the Strikeforce Women's Welterweight champion, will be signing autographs, as well as Dan Henderson will be here. So that's something that's a newly crowned Strikeforce light heavyweight champion. That's something that's very exciting. Right here in this room, tomorrow, 4 o'clock autograph signing, 5 o'clock we start the weigh-in for our big fight card. We do want to, before we proceed, thank the fine folks here at the Crowne Plaza. Thank you for your professionalism and for your hospitality. We do want to thank also Rockstar Energy Drink, our presenting sponsor, and we do want to also acknowledge Full Tilt Poker and GoDaddy.com, our valued sponsors for a long time now. Through the years, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of promoters, a whole bunch of them, good and bad, but a lot of them, let me tell you. And I've been able to see it from a different perspective. You know, they come in all shapes, all sizes, all strengths, all weaknesses. But the good ones always really promote the sport. They promote the fight, they build up the fight, and they build up their fighters. Well, certainly our promoter does those things very well. He promotes the sport, the fighters, and the event itself. But I think where he stands really at the top of his field is his character and his integrity. And for me, having worked with a lot of promoters throughout the world, truly he stands alone in this regard. Maybe it's his over 25 years of promoting martial arts. Maybe it's his lifelong commitment as a martial artist himself. But he's truly a man to be admired and respected for his character and his integrity. My pleasure to introduce you to say a few words, and then, of course, he's going to field some questions a little bit later. Strikeforce CEO, Mr. Scott Coker.
Thank you, Jimmy. I'd just like to start off with saying that it's nice to be here in San Diego. This is the first time that Strikeforce has been to the city, so we're looking forward to it. Like Jimmy said, it's been a very good response on the tickets. We're looking forward to our main event and the other 3 co-features. I'd like to thank the fighters. I'd like to thank all the media for attending today. I'd like to thank Showtime, Mr. Ken Hirschman, who really, I believe it was 2 years ago this week that Strikeforce had its first TV fight at the HP Pavilion, and it was Nick Diaz fighting Frank Shamrock. I believe Kung Lee fought on that card too, but that was our inaugural fight. Chris and Andy were there, Ken Hirschman was there, Jock McClain was there, and that was our launch, and I believe that was 2 years ago today, or maybe the weekend after. So I'd like to thank my staff. They've done an amazing job to bring this company to where it is today, for in under a 2-year period. I'd like to thank our former partners at SVSC. They were instrumental in building this company and getting us to this point. As you know, the purchase of Strikeforce by Zuffa, I call it the Strikeforce 3.0, powered by Zuffa. And it's been an amazing thing for me to see when you walk into their office and see 200 people under one roof, all working towards a common goal. And they're very good at what they do. Their marketing team is amazing. Their public relations team is amazing. I mean, every department is amazing, and they have some departments that I didn't even know existed. So I've learned a lot, and it's been quite an experience for myself. And this Saturday will be the first fight under the new umbrella. We look forward to continuing to build a relationship and build the Strikeforce brand, and really make it a league that I envisioned when we started this thing in 2006. As you know, in 2006 in the state of California, Strikeforce was the first mixed martial arts league that got the California state license to do the first show, and that was Frank Shamrock fighting Cesar Gracie March 10th of 06. And there was no TV, we had no sponsorships, it was just a live gate event, and we hit a grand slam home run. We had 18,000 people there, and we've been just kicking butt ever since. But I'd like to thank the State Athletic Commission of California, Mr. George Dodd. As you know, they do all the rules and regulations and testing, and really act as a very fair, independent body to regulate this sport. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Shinoda and tomorrow Mr. Kato-san for, in all the trials and tribulations that are happening in Japan right now, they continue the Budo spirit and allowed Aoki, Kawajiri, and their other fighters to come. So thank you, Shinoda, and thank Kato-san. And that's it. I look forward to some great fights, some epic battles on Saturday, and I'll pass it back to you, Jimmy.
Pleasure for me now to introduce our fighters, our principals in this big event. I want to begin with the man on my left, someone who many people admire. When you come through adversity and then you become a great person, you just get so much more admiration, and I'm one of many who admire this man so very much. He's a successful fighter, a successful man, and a great fighter. 16-1 is his record, and more than that, his mom makes his shorts, and I just love that. How about a hand of welcome to Lyle Fancy Pants Beerbaum. Coming up, Lyle, for you.
Have you guys heard the rumor out there? Well, the rumor is that I'm unsubbable, and so I don't know how Aoki's going to be able to sub me. But and so I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy. I want to thank Rich Chow, and I want to thank Mike. I want to thank the UFC. I want to thank Strikeforce. I want to thank everybody for coming. And so, thanks, guys.
And Lyle had mentioned his opponent, mentioned the word submission. When you think of submission, you think of this gentleman. Such a dangerous fighter. Since he had his tough loss against Gilbert, he's gone back to Japan with 3 straight wins. He's hungry, and he's ready. Please welcome one of the great submission masters from Japan, Shinya Aoki.
はい、思いっきり一歩取っていきたいなと思います。Thank you.
He will do his best and submit Mr. Lyle Beerbaum tomorrow, day after tomorrow.
Now, I almost could have translated that. Well done, thank you. By the way, we're going to have a chance for questions for these fighters and Scott Coker as well afterwards. We're going to have limited times. We're going to have time for that because we have limited one-on-ones after that. So be thinking of your questions, and they're all available to answer your questions. I'll move next to our light heavyweight attraction. When Mike Kyle injured his hand, was unable to fight, boy, did they get a replacement. Not a replacement indeed, because he's a world-class fighter. Tough light heavyweight, longtime UFC veteran, the Dean of Mean, Mr. Keith Jardine.
Yeah, let's see, last week this time I was at home enjoying my vacation, and I guess it's not very nice of Strikeforce to call me and put me back to work like they did, but no, I'm way excited, and it's a real honor to be a part of this event with Zuffa back here and being under the Zuffa umbrella again and fighting for Coker. Man, I've always heard great things about Strikeforce, and it's a true honor, and I'm very excited to be a part of this card. The main thing though is someone like Mousasi, man. Like, how can I turn that fight down? If it was just some guy I never heard of, it would have been easy. But I like to step up and fight the big fights, and that's what Mousasi is. So it'd be a real honor, and thank you very much.
Indeed, Gegard Mousasi is a big name, an international name, in fact. Born in Iran, he represents his Armenian heritage. He fights out of Holland. He won his first title here for Strikeforce in the United States. Truly an international star and a tremendous light heavyweight. Please welcome Gegard Mousasi.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. I want to thank Keith Jardine for taking the fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight, and hope to see you.
Gegard Mousasi versus Keith Jardine. That's our second televised bout on Showtime on Saturday evening. The third bout is for the Strikeforce Lightweight World Championship. Now, when you beat someone like Josh Thompson, the world has to pay attention. And this man did it in his last bout. It's a rematch of a fight that took place a few years ago. Both fighters have changed, and we're going to see what happens on Saturday evening. Please welcome the challenger joining us from Inashiki, Japan, Tatsuya Kawajiri.
アメリカの MMA ファンの皆さん、はじめまして、日本から来たドリームの川尻達也です。メレンデス選手とは、2006年の大晦日以来5年ぶりぐらいの対戦になるんですけど、前回結果的には負けてるんですけど、自分の中では引き分けだと思ってるんで、今回が本当の決着戦になると思います。でこの5年間でどっちがどれだけ強くなったか、そういうのを確認し合いながらお互いリングストライクフォースのケージで、戦争のような戦いになると思うんで、皆さん楽しみにしていてください。よろしくお願いします。
American MMA fans, I am Tatsuya Kawajiri from Dream. I fought Gilbert on New Year's Eve 2006. Even though I lost that fight by decision, I thought the fight was a draw. Since then, it's been 5 years. We've both grown a lot. So on Saturday, we're going to be in for a war, and I hope you all enjoy the fight.
Now that I could not have translated, so well done. His opponent is the world champion, defending world champion. He's taken about a year off, but certainly, arguably, the #1 lightweight fighter in the world, certainly the top 3. He's a humble man. He'll probably call himself in the top 3, but many say he is #1. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the microphone El Nino Gilbert Melendez.
Yeah, just first of all, happy to be fighting again. It's been a year. Happy to be in San Diego. Happy to be representing Strikeforce. Kawajiri and I have some unfinished business from four and a half years ago. I got the W, but I can't stand people saying I lost that fight or it was a draw or whatnot. So I'm looking forward to making this one decisive and getting the W. But I think everyone's in for a war. It's going to be fight of the night, guaranteed. Thank you.
Gilbert does have 2 losses on his record, but he has avenged both of them, and so this is just going to be a great fight, as he says. Our main event of the evening is for the Strikeforce Welterweight World Championship. The challenger joins us from England, giving us a new meaning of the word, a British bomber. I mean, he's a man who speaks a great game and follows it up with fire in his fists and thunder in his feet. He's a great, great fighter. When he knocked out Scott Smith, it was just one of the knockouts. If you saw that, you will never forget, because he possesses the power to end any fight at any moment. Very exciting fight. Please welcome the challenger from Nottingham, England, Paul Semtex Daley.
I'm just going to wait till questions open up. I don't really have much to say until then.
And his opponent is the defending champion. He's lost once in the last 5 years. He avenged that loss against KJ Noons. He's been on a tear lately with fighting so many big names and beating them all. Sometimes beating them at their own game, sometimes just completely outthinking them with whatever they bring. He's been a very, very hot fighter. We're honored to have him as part of our main event and defending his Strikeforce World Welterweight Championship. Please welcome Nick Diaz.
Right on. Hope everybody's doing well today here, and I just want to say that I'm feeling good, ready to fight. I hope to put on a great show for you guys Saturday, and I hope to represent my team well. Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and all my teammates: Nathan Diaz, Gilbert Melendez, Jake Shields, Daniel Roberts, all these guys on my team here. I'm here fighting for you, and I'm gonna go out there and try to do it.
Okay, as promised, we're going to open this up for questions from the media. We're going to ask you to please raise your hand. We have some microphones that will be floating. Please identify, Mike has one over there, and I think there's another one as well available. Please identify yourself, your outlet or your publication. Ask your question on the microphone so everyone can hear. Questions are available to any of the fighters as well as Scott Coker. Once again, we have limited times for one-on-ones afterwards because the fighters have to go to fighter talent meetings with Showtime. So we encourage you to ask your questions now. Short one-on-ones afterwards, then they're out of here. First question.
Stephen from MMA Junkie. Question for Nick. Paul said to me before in an interview that he believed that your silence was part of a strategy, basically, to maybe psych him out a little bit. What's your reaction to that?
I didn't really have anything to say. I don't know.
So there wasn't really any design and the quietness before the fight?
Right. I don't have anything to say. So.
Mm-hmm.
Question up front.
Ariel Helwani, MMA fighting. For Tatsuya Kawajiri, I was just wondering, there was an earthquake earlier this morning in Japan, and I wondered how, if any friends or family of yours were affected and if they're doing okay. And the same question for Shinya Aoki.
川尻選手と青木選手両方に質問なんですけど、今朝、日本でまた地震があったということで、ご自身の家族だったり、友人にどれぐらい影響があったかとかってご存知でしょうか。
僕の家族も友人も大丈夫みたいです。心配ありがとうございます。
My friends and family are fine. Thank you for the comment. 青木選手も。
全く分かりません。そして僕の家族が死のうが僕の友達が死のうが僕が戦うことは全く変わらないので特に気にしていません。
I haven't heard from them yet, but it doesn't matter to me at this moment that if they are safe or not.
いや、ファイターだからだ。
Because he's the fighter.
Case Kiefer, Las Vegas Sun. For Gilbert, we've heard you say the last couple of weeks how motivated and excited you are now with the new ownership. Can you compare how you feel going into this fight to some of the other big fights you've been in your career?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I've had a lot of pressure on myself. Campaigning, I'm the #1 lightweight in the world, and also I've been asking, to get a little bit more exposure out there, and I think I've been getting a little bit more with the Zuffa buyout. But I'm proud to defend my Strikeforce title, and I'm excited to do it. But it comes with the territory. But I'm 100% prepared. And I know I'm going to go out there and give it my best, and I'm all right with that.
And for Nick, I wanted to see if you could talk about Gilbert, please. Just training with him, have you seen a different kind of intensity from him?
Yeah, I think Gilbert's an extraordinary, fighter, and one of the best wrestlers I ever worked out with. I'm lucky to have him, training with me. I get to pick up a lot of good things, and I think he's as ready as ever. And last time I saw him, we were training together, and he's looking good. So I think you guys are in for a good show.
Question right here.
Kevin Mitchell with 609 MMA. A question for Keith Jardine. With taking this fight on such a short notice, how do you feel being prepared for a fighter like Gegard Mousasi?
Yeah, man. I'm not even worried about that. I've had a lot of big fights. I've had a lot of fights in my I've been fighting for a bunch of years, and this fight's more like, well, when I talked to Greg Jackson on last Thursday night about the fight, he was kind of telling me, he's a good fighter. I wish we'd have some more time to do a game plan for this fight and prepare for this fight and things like that. It's a big fight and all that. I'm all, Greg, when it comes down to it, it's just another fucking fight, man. And that's what I do. I'm a fighter, man, and I'm in good shape. I train all the time. I'm not worried about getting tired, and let's just go get in a fight, man. It's a big name. It's what I like to do.
I love it. It's awesome.
So Keith, when Gegard says he's watched one round of you from a clip from a fight 2 years ago, what's your reaction to it? Do you think that's a mistake?
No, not at all. It kind of makes sense. Just like I only watched a little bit of him because how much you're gonna game plan for in a couple of days. He's just gonna go in and fight a fight and do what he knows how to do, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I think I do it a little bit better than he does.
Do you think it places more of a burden on you to perhaps be more aggressive early on, since you perhaps didn't have as much time to prepare for this fight as you would have liked?
Getting tired in this fight is not a concern for me, so no.
For Keith, too, can you just kind of take us through what was your reaction when, I guess just a week ago, you were offered this fight?
My manager's sitting right in front of you. He called me up. I was at a T-ball game for my nephews on Thursday night, and I was standing there, and I said, we pretty much knew we were going to do it right away. Fight under the Zelf umbrella again, and this new Strikeforce thing that's happening is a huge opportunity. So there's no way I could turn it down, and just there was no way. I have a hard time if I heard the name or something like that. It's almost like backing down from a fight on the street or something like that. That's what I look for. If I never heard of the guy and it was some organization somewhere, it would have been real easy to turn down, but not this way.
Next question. Right up front, second row.
My question is for Paul. Nick obviously has a really good ground game and is known for having good submissions. Lately he's chosen to stand and bang with a few more people. And do you expect that, people make a lot of your power. Do you expect that he'll want to stand with you and that he'll engage in the striking game early on?
I expect Nick Diaz to fight. That's what he does. That's what he does best. Whether he's on his back, whether he's in top position, or whether he's boxing, he's good at what he does. So that I'm just prepared for a fight, and that's what I'm excited about. The fact that it's going to be a fight. There ain't going to be no laying prey bitching out. We're going to be in a fight, and that's what I do best.
And for Nick, a lot of people make a lot of Paul's punching power. How do you prepare for a guy who has that kind of one-punch knockout power?
I try to get a good look from different sparring, and I just train hard and do my best with the time I have, and that's pretty much it.
Ariel.
For Paul, considering that if you win the title on Saturday, you would be the first British fighter in MMA to hold a major title, have you sensed more, buzz back home for this fight, even though it's not a UFC fight? You fought some big fights in the UFC, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's been a lot more media attention, but You know, Dan Hardy fought GSP for the UFC title, so you know it hasn't received as much attention as that, but we're getting some good press back home. But I'm here. I'm not really thinking about what's going on back there.
And just on a side note, I always noticed in St. Louis you were wearing a Cardinals hat, and I see a Padres hat. Is this a conscious decision on your part to try to endear yourself to the hometown fans?
Nah, seriously. Yeah, you know, I'm the foreigner over here in the USA, and it would be good to have at least one or two people out there, you know, screaming for me. So I figure if I put this here, wear it a couple of times, get photographed in it, then I'll at least have one or two fans, you know.